The glass was grimy, coated in a layer of ancient, oily dust that blurred the world outside into a gray haze. Inside the stifling heat of the solarium, the air tasted of copper and rot. Most of the vegetation had long since surrendered to neglect, reduced to brittle, skeletal husks that crunched like bone under my boots. Every fern was a brown corpse. Every flower was a shriveled memory, except for one. Deep in the corner, a single vine clung to the glass. It didn't grow with the chaotic tangle of nature. Instead, it moved with an unsettling geometric intentionality. It had spiraled upward in a tight, rhythmic coil, weaving its emerald length into jagged, unmistakable shapes. My heart skipped as the letters came into focus against the filth. "Water me." At the base of the pot sat an old zinc watering can, its surface bone-dry and pitted with rust. My hands shook as I carried it to the nearby pump, the handle groaning in protest. I returned and tipped the spout. The soil didn't just absorb the liquid. It seemed to pulse, drinking greedily with a rhythmic, wet slurping sound that vibrated through the floorboards. Almost instantly, the temperature in the room plummeted. Thick, heavy condensation began to bloom across the panes, obscuring the dead garden. New words began to etch themselves into the fog from the outside, carved by invisible fingers. Now, sunlight. I turned to leave to find a tool to clear the roof, but a heavy thud echoed through the chamber. The heavy oak door had slammed shut. I grabbed the handle and twisted. It was frozen solid. The lock clicked with a finality that felt like a burial. The vine began to move. It wasn't just growing anymore. It was uncoiling. The W and M detached from the glass like reaching limbs. The leaves, sharp as razors, vibrated with a low, hungry hum. I backed away, pressing my spine against the locked door, watching as the green tendrils began to sense the heat of my skin. "Sunlight?" I whispered, looking up at the blackened, soot-covered skylights. I realized then that I wasn't the gardener. I was the fertilizer. The plant didn't want the sun to help it grow. It wanted the sun so it could see exactly where to strike. The floor began to heave. Roots, thick as human thighs, erupted from beneath the tiles, blocking the path to the windows. The room was a cage of thorns. The vine on the glass rewritten itself one last time, the condensation dripping like tears down the pane. "Closer," it commanded. I felt a thin, cold filament wrap around my ankle. It didn't pull hard, not yet. It just held me steady, waiting for the clouds outside to break, waiting for the first beam of light to illuminate its meal. The silence of the solarium was broken only by the sound of my own frantic breathing and the steady, rhythmic drip, drip, drip of the leaking watering can. I looked at the glass one last time. Behind the grime, I saw faces, dozens of them, pressed against the other side, trapped in the silica, their mouths open in eternal, silent screams. They weren't outside looking in. They were part of the glass now, victims of the same thirst that was currently tightening its grip on my throat. The sun began to peek through the clouds. A single golden needle of light pierced the grime. The vine shivered in delight, its thorns elongating, turning a deep, blood-stained crimson. I screamed, but the sound was swallowed by the sudden, violent rustle of 1,000 unfolding leaves. The garden was no longer dead. It was waking up and it was starving. As the light hit my face, the vine lunged. Would you like me to adjust the pacing of the final scene to make it even more suspenseful for your audio story?